Greetings, my friends, and welcome to Revenge of Atop the Fourth Wall Live! If this is your first time seeing anything related to Atop the Fourth Wall, then you were probably dragged here kicking and screaming by a friend or loved one. For the next 20 minutes, you will have to endure my unfunny attempts at riffing on a comic. Someday, your children and grandchildren will ask you what it was like having to sit through this nightmare, and you will only be able to close your eyes and weep gently into the night. I, however, will laugh at your pain, because you didn't have to read the same thing I did. As with the last live show I did here at Magfest, I am reading from a script, and as such, I apologize in advance if I flub a line or slur my words. And like last year's live show, I decided to do something video game related. But what to do this year? I already covered Malibu Comics Street Fighter series on the actual show, and last year we did Triforce, but what else is there to do? Well, then I remembered, video game comics aren't restricted to comic books themselves. As such, allow me to proudly introduce you to Johnny Turbo. The gamers in the audience are probably familiar with a console called the TurboGrafx 16, the bronze medal winner on the war between the Sega Genesis and the Nintendo Entertainment System.
Who?
For a number of reasons, the Sega Genesis was beating the TurboGrafx 16 in sales, and in 1992, the Sega CD was approaching the market. The TurboGrafx 16 already had a CD add-on, but it was hard to find, and a lot of the more popular games for it weren't translated into English from the console's Japanese counterpart. As such, the creators of the console made one more effort to beat Sega. Not that they really needed to, considering what we know about some of the games available on the Sega CD. Cough, sewer shark, cough. But anyway, they introduced the Turbo Duo, a console that integrated the CD add-on and the console together. And that's a great idea. What wasn't so much a great idea was how they decided to advertise the Turbo Duo. Features characters like Bond or Bomberman, and you could probably make comics out of those, but no! This is the face of the Turbo Duo, damn it! I'd evaluate the cover, except there is no cover. There were 3 Johnny Turbo mini-comics put into issues of Electronic Gaming Monthly. This one right here is from the 3rd story. Ignore the part that says it's issue 45 of Johnny Turbo. They were just making up the number for no reason. That's the kind of thinking that went into this, my friend. These behind your logic and common sense, you will have no need for them here. The true beginning of Johnny Turbo's exploits begins in episode 43, The Master Plan. We start in the offices of Feka Incorporated. Feka Incorporated is implementing its dastardly plan to convince the unsuspecting public that they have created the first and only CD game system. Except for, you know, PC owners who have CD-ROM drives, but here's a PC game. Huh, Feka. Why, that almost sounds like Sega. But that can't be. Because the names sound very much alike, and they're talking about how they're about to release a CD-based add-on to their own console, and they happen to be in direct opposition to the Turbo Duo, doesn't mean they're the same thing. And even if they were, they certainly wouldn't make this Feka so transparently evil and monstrous. No siree. By the way, I couldn't help but notice the lovely skull decorations on this guy's curtains in his office. That's an interesting motif. Who is this guy anyway? Feka Tsar. Huh, who knew Sega was Russian? The Tsar himself, who is apparently a tiny shadow demon, since otherwise with the light and shadows on the page, there's no way he should be a silhouette, asks about the status of their master plan. The plan is working perfectly, sir. Everyone thinks that our game system is the first ever of its kind. They love us! And yet they won't get into a committed relationship with us. Is that love? I ask you! Meanwhile, in stately apartment 3B in Citytown, USA, we meet our hero, Jonathan Brandstetter, and his roommate, Tony. Hey, Tony, you've got to see this new game from the Turbo Duo. It's called Game of Thunder, and it's got the arcade feel! So it's got a big red joystick that feels awkward to use and 8 buttons that you keep missing because their space is so far apart. Tony, meanwhile, is listening to the radio while he gets dressed in his Matt Smith cosplay. Sure it is, Johnny, but I think you'd better listen to what's on the radio right now. Tony must have psychic radio powers because he knows what's going to be on the radio before they start talking. This just in, Vega's new CD game system, which they claim to be the first and only system of its kind, is causing quite a commotion downtown. Oh my God, everybody! A CD game system? Panic! Panic! Nostradamus predicted this! I also love how, even though it's text, you can just read the sarcasm dripping off the radio announcement that Vega claims that it's the first and only system of its kind. Jonathan responds, I can't believe this, Tony. They keep saying that their game system is the first and only system of its kind. Well, it's not. Oh my God, exaggerated claims in an advertisement? What new spore of madness is this? And Turbo Duo CD games are much more intense than Vega's. Well, clearly, Johnny Turbo has never had to deal with the suspense and tension of Night Trap. Tony asks Jonathan if there's anything they can do to stop them. I'm not sure, but I've got to do something to loosen their grip on the minds of the public. I'm gonna blog the hell out of this! That son of a bastard! We cut to an open street where the Blues Brothers are selling their Vega system. Man, GameStop has done some hard times. I mean, really, this is the way they're selling these things. Look at that, there's a huge crowd of people lined up to get this thing, and there's only like 5 boxes on the ground. I have so many questions. Why do all these kids look completely dumbfounded and confused, with their mouths just kind of hanging open? Why are they paying for this in cash? Do they have 200 bucks just lying around? Why is this happening outside instead of in a game store where people can buy with credit cards and get receipts? For all these kids know, they're just buying a box with weights inside of it. You know, like the Jaguar CD. This is also an interesting business model because along with selling the 8 or so they have on the streets for the hundreds of kids here, they're also giving away free CD games along with it. Yep, I don't see this backfiring anyway. We're making a killing on these kids. It's a good thing nobody knows the real truth about us, because if people knew that the Turbo Duo was already out, with games already available, we'd be in big trouble. So do you. Your system is available right now. You're selling it. You have games available too. At least I assume they're games. Otherwise, what the hell are you giving these kids for free? Blank CDs?
Music Factory.
Also, good job keeping that info on the down low, while with everybody in the crowd listening intently to whatever you're saying and whispering.
Oh my God, Turbo Duo, we got games out. Let's go get it right now.
However, the down gone mad? If that's supposed to be a utility belt, what the hell is he keeping in all those compartments? Memory cards? Suddenly the Triforce spandex tracksuits look like military dress uniforms by comparison. Kids, listen! Don't let them mislead you! The Turbo Duo is the first CD game system on the market! Oh my god, it is?! That makes a difference for some reason! Yeah, I can't ignore this anymore. The crux of the argument that the ads make, the thing they keep hammering over and over and over, is that they released it first! That's your criticism? This is the equivalent of an elementary school's kid taunting their peers by yelling, yeah, we did it first!
They did it before it was cool.
And they're doing games that we already have. Why, we released Sherlock Holmes on CD almost 2 years ago. Sherlock Holmes? Oh no, he didn't. It just got real, yo. It's Johnny Turbo, and he's trying to ruin our master plan. Yes, such a complex and intricate plan. Step 1, sell game system. Step 2, advertise game system to sell more. It's nefarious!
See, that's the take over the world. Oh.
And then Johnny Turbo shoots at them. Our hero, everybody! Yeah, the murder in competition. One of the fake dudes jumps at him, but a quick punch in response knocks off the guy's sunglasses, revealing demon eyes! Oh my god, they're not even human! Yes, people, that's right. Sega, Feka, is actually made of demons! The Feka CD will steal your soul! And give yourself to the Turbo Duo! Only the Turbo Duo will absolve you of all your sins! And that's it for the first issue of Johnny Turbo. We're not done yet. Like I said, there were 3 of them, but because of time, we're only going to look at the second issue and save the very trippy third issue for another time.
Yay.
The second Johnny Turbo story has this pseudo cover featuring Johnny holding up one of the demonic men in black by the throat in front of the ruins of a building. I'm guessing that somehow the demonic armies of Feka rose up and began the apocalypse between issues. Also in the background is Tony, putting his hand to his chest as if saying, "Oh, I declare." Johnny Turbo continues the fight against the deceptive propaganda of Feka Incorporated's master plan. Yes, and what better way to fight propaganda than by portraying your business rivals as hideous demonic creatures who laugh about how evil their plans are like Captain Planet villains.
So it's like politics.
What a wonderful way to fight against propaganda. Oh, and Captain Planet, we can add them to the list of people who look more dignified than Johnny Turbo. We open at the Feka offices. Dun, 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 dun. What do we do now, Mr. Feka? Mr. Feka? Is the Feka czar now Mr. Feka? Is there a Mr. Sega in the real world? I mean, aside from Segata Senshiro? Anyway, the latest version of their master plan is that they'll convince kids that the Feka CD system is a complete system, while in fact you need the Feka Genesis to attach it to. Kids don't know that. They'll buy our CD system and then have to spend another $100 on our 16-bit system. Or they'll just return it.